Spending less and getting more is a no-brainer. That's why serious landlords choose Inago. Forget the myth that free software means weak features. Inago delivers everything. Tenant screening, lease signing, rent collection, and more. For free. No fees, no contracts, just a full-featured, reliable platform trusted by thousands of landlords. Plus, their top-rated support team is always ready to help. Ready to streamline your property management and save money? Visit inago.com today. That's inago.com/podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Rent-ish podcast. I'm Zach, and I'm here with my co-host, Patrick.
What up?
We are your hosts today, and we're the podcast that kind of talks about rental properties and property management. It's hosted by us two guys that work in the real estate industry, and we kind of know what we're talking about.
But mostly don't.
You nailed the catchphrase this week.
I did.
Yeah.
I studied hard.
Beautiful. I love it. But I think you guys are going to have fun listening to the episode. We're going to talk to experts. We're going to hear some news, updates from around the world of property management and real estate. We're going to talk about some fun buildings. Today, we've got 3 humdingers, if I do say so myself. We've got listener questions. We're going to talk about the Flatiron Building, and we do Proptology. And we're going to talk about rising housing, food, gas costs. So, does
Exciting
that sound
stuff.
fun? Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready for it?
Two coffees in me. I drank a coffee, and then 10 seconds after finishing that, producer gives me a cup of coffee. So
Yeah.
I'm shaking right now. I'm ready to talk about these
Just
rising
want to talk
costs.
about the news.
Flatiron Building.
Let's talk news. That's a good name for the segment.
Let's talk news.
Let's talk news.
That's a good. Yeah, I like it.
Let's talk news. That was organic. That's what we call thinking on the spot. All right. CBS News Price Tracker shows how much food, gas, utility, and housing costs are rising. So this is an article from CBS News. Patrick, did you read the article?
I was going to, but then I sort of didn't and forgot.
That's fine.
My bad.
No, it's okay. I like that this is our bit now. Is that
Yeah.
I do all the work, and then you just sit there and look pretty. All right, rising costs are reshaping daily life in America, with housing leading the charge. Soaring home prices and rents, combined with high food, gas, and utility bills, are squeezing household budgets like never before.
Yeah.
So, discussion, real quick, before we get into a lot of like the bullets of the article and like the article itself. How have rising costs affected your daily life? Whether it's housing, groceries, gas, all the above. I mean, I feel like we can be candid here. The producers are like, just talk about it. So,
yeah.
I mean, costs have affected everybody. We can say that pretty straight on.
The very noticeable one for me, because I live in the city downtown, so like I don't get in my car as much as probably most people do.
Yeah.
So gas isn't affecting me as much, but I've definitely noticed in the past 5 years. Like McDonald's alone is twice as expensive as it was my year of college. You know.
Yeah, dude. All right. So, side note on the McDonald's thing, fast food inflation.
Yeah.
What the hell is happening here? Yeah, the last time, so I rarely get fast food just casually, but like on road trips, it's really convenient. Like if I'm driving to Columbus or Cleveland or whatever, I need to get like fast food. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But a 10-piece chicken McNugget, fry, and a drink is like it's like $12 now.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh yeah.
How in the world is that worth it?
I don't know. I can't. I remember I would get like a regular hamburger from McDonald's, and when like 2020, I think, the 2019-ish, it was 90 cents for a hamburger, and now it's like $2.50 for just a regular hamburger. You know, it's insane. And one of my business buddies told me that a really good indication of how bad inflation is things like McDonald's, like everyday items. You know?
Fast food, American food, quick convenience. Yeah, right. When that stuff starts going up, you can realize, like, I've been told that same thing: the cost of a burger or the price of a Coke.
Right.
Price of a bottle of Coke, can of Coke, like you can tell like what's going on by the cost of that, like how it fluctuates or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy to me. Like, I used to in college, like not even that long ago, like I was in college in the early 2010s. I was able to go to Taco Bell with $5 and eat like a king.
That's the thing. These places are forgetting, you know, like if you have $4 in your bank account, you know you can go to McDonald's or Taco Bell and get a real substantial meal, or like at least you used to be able to, but now it's you're paying, you know,
it's definitely different.
Restaurant prices.
Michelin restaurant. Michelin rate. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, food, I think, is pretty ubiquitous. I mean, if you're an American, you're usually buying groceries. I can't think of anyone out there that's like, that doesn't really apply to. I guess college, yes, and young kids. That's true. But it's like, people our age, I mean, like over, 25 and up, 23 and up, wherever you're at like in life, typically you need to go to the grocery store. That's where I'm noticing it hit the most. Like in terms of like rising costs affecting my daily life is that I've had to budget differently for the grocery. Like I can no longer get the same amount of groceries that I used to for $100 at Kroger. Like I have to plan differently, different meals, different items of food. I've been leaning towards to help make costs at the grocery last longer. I've been making a lot more like crock pot meals. So like getting like a bigger piece of meat and being able to like cook it down in the crock pot and then have leftovers for days afterwards and being able to like stretch that dollar a little bit further.
Right.
You don't cook at home.
I don't. New health kick. I don't know if listeners have heard. I'm on a health kick. I had chicken and broccoli last night for dinner, and I had it again leftovers for lunch, and I cooked it. Added some salt.
I would hope you cooked it. Like I had chicken and broccoli raw, straight from the package.
Yeah, it was good. I'm all about this new cooking lifestyle. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of chefing it up as
I'm proud of you.
Yes,
I think that's good. But obviously, it means that you're spending more money at the grocery.
Yeah, but I'm spending less money at restaurants. So because like restaurants, I would love nothing more than to make enough money so I can eat out every single meal. Like that's my main incentive to like become rich. That's really my only incentive is I don't want to cook, but like I can't because of how expensive.
So when you go to a job interview and they ask like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You're like, not cooking my own meals.
Yeah. Right. That's pretty much the answer.
Okay. Well, so have you noticed the difference in your spend, from like limiting your restaurants and cooking more at home? Do you feel like you're spending less?
Certainly. Grocery wise, like I mean, I did get some groceries in college, and certainly groceries have gone up. But yeah, overall, because I can't eat at restaurants as often as I once was, I'm definitely I have to compensate for that. Maybe spend the exact same amount, but like have to get more.
Right. Yeah, gas. You mentioned like it doesn't really affect you that much living in the city, which is cool. That's awesome. Gas for me, I only drive to the office a couple times a week, and my commute's only about 12-15 minutes. So it's really like I'll fill my car up once and it'll last me a few weeks. I don't really driving anywhere else except for to work. So that hasn't really affected me a lot, but I imagine people like we work with people that have like a 45-minute commute back and forth at home. It's like, oh my God,
that's
like,
my sister.
That's like a whole tank of gas. And those prices are crazy too. But the housing, we'll dig a little bit deeper into this.
We're talking about real estate.
Yeah, well, it's all factors into it. If you expensive gas, location, food, like you have to think about all these factors that go into like renting as well. So housing costs. So from the article, again, this is citing from the article, skyrocketing home prices. Homes now cost 5 times the median household income, which is a record affordability gap. Also, rent inflation. Nationwide rents have risen 26% since 2020, particularly in urban centers like New York City and Miami. 2020, for example, rent for a typical 2-bedroom apartment in Boston now averages $3,500, up from $2,800 in 2020.
That's kind of crazy in just a span of 4 years.
Pretty nuts. Have you, not that you have to talk about how much you pay in rent, but I mean, have you noticed the change?
I've noticed it since, I have really only been renting a few years at this point, myself, because I didn't really have to deal with that as much in college. I mean, I'm paying $300 more than I was 2 years ago.
I've just anecdotally, we're recording this in lovely, beautiful Cincinnati, Ohio. And that's where our studio is. And I've lived in Cincinnati now. I'm going on 10 years of living solo in the Cincinnati area. From moving my first apartment in Cincinnati to where I live now, my base rent has increased by $700.
Okay.
So $700 over the span of, it's technically 8 years, which is feels like a lot. It feels like a lot, but it's also a longer time period. Like it's been a little bit more gradual.
Yeah.
I've only ever had one instance where rent was like really jacked up in a short amount of time. It was during the pandemic too.
Yeah.
So that was tough. But
talking to people who've been around like long, like people our parents' age or whatever. I was talking to my uncle who bought his house. I forget when he bought it, sometime in the 2000s, for like $100,000, and now it's worth like $400,000 or something like crazy like that.
Yeah,
just crazy how much housing prices have jumped in the past decade.
Yep. All right, food costs. So continue with the article here. Grocery examples. We got prices for staples like eggs surged by over 70% in 2022. And while they have stabilized, they remain much higher than pre-pandemic levels. Eggs, man. Talk about something that just fluctuates in price all the time. I feel like it's different every time I go to the grocery.
I don't really buy eggs, so.
Really?
Yeah, I buy like 5 things.
But of your 5 essentials, eggs typically don't make it on the list.
Eggs, yeah, I don't just regularly cook eggs. Honestly. Okay. I don't know. So I believe you though. I believe the article.
Yeah. Cereal and baked goods continuing to rise with a recent 6% year-over-year increase. That's another thing. I don't know about you, but like I used to love cereal as a kid. God, yeah. But I've kind of like grown out of it a little bit.
Yeah, same.
I don't crave cereal the same way I did when I was younger. Although like this hot take, I prefer dry cereal. But I know that this might over wet cereal. Yeah.
Okay. I agree though. I had at least 2 bowls a day when I was younger. Like at least 2, probably 3. Like Trix, Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch was the bomb.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Lucky Charms were my number 1.
Lucky Charms were great. But yeah, I'm not just sometimes I'll eat like the Special K.
Yeah.
But I'm not really big into it anymore.
Right. And then dining out. Menu prices at restaurants have climbed about 24% since 2020, driven by rising wages and ingredients costs. The interesting thing for me, and I don't know if you feel the same way, because I don't know how like what kind of places that you like go out to eat at. Fast casual, fast food, takeout restaurants. All 3 of those I've noticed significant jumps where I noticed the price increases. But like dine-in restaurants, like nicer upscale restaurants here in Cincinnati, like places in OTR where I live, like it's like sit-down restaurants. I feel like there have been increases, but not as drastic. But maybe it's also because I feel like those are places with inherent more quality food.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting a better meal at like a mom and pop sit-down restaurant with like a nice menu and like not Buca de Beppo or whatever.
Yeah.
Like actually like a place.
I still feel like I still feel like those have definitely gone up. Like I feel like what may have been like a $12 meal before is now like a $17 meal. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. And
no, you're definitely not wrong.
It depends on the place, obviously, but I've definitely noticed all across the board restaurant. I mean, like maybe super expensive restaurants to begin with. Like maybe those haven't increased at that same rate.
Yeah, I'm not a high dining kind of person. Like the nicest restaurant I think I frequent in Cincinnati would probably be like somewhere between like $35 to $45 a plate.
Okay.
Maybe even a little bit more. But
gotcha.
Gas. We'll quickly go through this one. Gas averaged about $3.85 per gallon nationally in November of 2024, with California seeing prices above $5. Diesel prices, critical for transportation and goods delivery, also remain elevated, which keeps logistic costs high.
2 things. The first thing, gas is one of those weird ones that fluctuates all the time. Like I've seen it recently go below 3, which was actually crazy to see. Unlike food, like you'll never go to McDonald's one week and be like, oh, the burger is only $1 now. But speaking of California, my dad's in California. He complains constantly about how absurdly expensive stuff is out there.
Yeah, I have friends that live in San Francisco, and I've traveled through California quite a few times, and man, it is a difference, like paying for gas out there.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, be prepared to fill your car up. It typically costs like $40 or whatever. It's going to cost like $60, $70.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Crazy. Utility bills have increased about 25% over the past 5 years, with average monthly electric bills now exceeding about $130 in many states.
Definitely felt this one.
You felt this one?
Yeah, definitely felt this one.
Yeah, it's not been atrocious for me this year, but we just started turning on the heat in the house. Our first bill was like $150, and I was like, yeah, that's
I mean, October and May are usually like, whoa, I'm saving so much money. Prices have gone way down. And then the second like AC or heat kicks on.
Yep, that's how it goes. Contributing factors include grid modernization, renewable energy investments, and rising operational costs. So yeah, we've talked about, noticing our bills and household expenses going up, and all that to say, rising costs, gas, food, electricity, all that.
Yeah.
It may be overwhelming, but understanding all these different factors at play and exploring solutions is definitely the first step forward in creating a more affordable future for everyone. Obviously, a lot of this stuff impacts rental properties. If you're owning a property, if you're renting in a property, so it affects everybody. This is a universal one, man. So, okay, that's the real news. What did I call it? Let's talk news.
Let's talk news.
All right, we talked news, so now we're going to talk buildings. We're going to do Proptology, which is Patrick. This week, you're going to talk to me about a building.
Yeah, Flatiron Building.
Yeah.
I had no idea that's what this building was called. And to be honest with you, I don't even think I've ever thought about this building.
What?
And then, I mean, like, obviously I recognize it, but I never knew about this building like a distinct.
You didn't know that this was a thing.
Well, I knew it was a thing. Like, like I said, I recognize the building. I see the picture of the building, I'm like, oh yeah, that building. But I've never given it thought in the same way, like the Empire State Building. It's like, oh yeah, that's a building. I can distinguish that building like just without the picture, right?
That's fair. It's not like it doesn't scream landmark. One of the other episodes we did the Space Needle.
Yes.
And it's like that's a thing. That's a definitely unique looking thing. But this, I think it's a little bit more of a subtle historical building. Well, I mean, like the classical architecture. There's a lot of, just classic New York design here.
I mean, the thing about it, if it was like a 4-sided building, it would just be like, that's a building. And for like those who don't have the picture right in front of them, it's kind of like a triangular sort of building where it just kind of like the two of the, what would you call it, sides just kind of meet to sort of like one rounded point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like that the shape of the building more than anything is what kind of gives it the distinct look. So it was actually made decades before the Empire State Building. Over a century before the One World Trade Center was built. It was one of the biggest buildings in Manhattan at the time.
Okay.
It's 22 stories tall, a little over 300 feet. So pretty big. Nothing like huge according to modern standards.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Flatiron Building name comes from the resemblance to the clothing irons used at the time of the 20th century, which I actually did not know that's how it got its name.
Got the name?
I wasn't really sure. When I think of Flatiron, isn't there that character from SpongeBob? You know who I'm talking about?
What?
Like, no pickles. Is his name Flatiron?
No.
Yeah.
No. It's like Squid. It's like Big Billy or something like that.
No. Flat, the no pickles guy from SpongeBob, isn't it? Flat. What is that, producer?
Bubble Bass.
Bubble Bass. Yeah. Okay. I see. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Actually, that's his name, Bubble Bass?
That's Bubble Bass.
Oh.
Yeah.
My bad.
Are you just saying because he looks like an iron?
No, I'm just saying I thought that was his name.
Thought his name was Iron?
Like, maybe that's the kind of species he is in the SpongeBob universe. I don't know. Maybe I was just completely off with that one.
No, it's okay. I'm sure someone out there is like, I know that reference. I understand that reference.
Pickles. Anyways, Flatiron Building, not fish, was designed by Daniel Burnham, American architect, urban planner, and this building became an iconic symbol of New York.
Now, would it surprise you, reading through the Wikipedia article for the Flatiron Building, a survey in 2023 found that the Flatiron Building was the 4th most loved building in the United States? Does that surprise you at all?
That does surprise me.
Yeah, it surprises me too.
4th most loved. Do you know what the top 3 were?
Pulling up the article right now. We got 4th most loved.
4th most loved.
It's like, but you got to also think like, that's what I'm talking about with this being like a subtle building, is that like, I think that this is a building that people like, a property that is beloved by architecture fans, like fans of like historical buildings. It's not just like, it's not the Empire State Building. It's not this symbol building. It's like an under the radar
building. Yeah. I see what you mean. Constructed 1901, completed 1902. So pretty quick turnaround there.
A year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very quick turnaround. That's a year. Let's see, 902 minus 19.
Yeah,
one. That's a 1 year. Yeah, it checks out.
Yeah, and so the architectural style is called Beaux Arts. Which I did not.
I've never heard
about that style, but apparently influenced the design.
Beaux Arts architecture was the academic architectural style taught at the. You want to French this word for me? Here.
Yeah, let's see.
Look at that. What does that say? Can you see that? École des Beaux.
École des Beaux-Arts.
Okay.
School of Beaux Arts. Beaux is like beautiful or pretty.
Got it. Yeah, it was 1830s to the end of the 19th century, drew upon the principles of French neoclassicism, but incorporated Renaissance and Baroque elements used in modern buildings.
So. You can definitely tell those influences there, especially from like the top of the building. I mean, as far as the building for nearly 120 years now has served as an office space, actually. So wouldn't that be cool to work in that office?
Cool. Have you ever been there? You've been to New York, right?
Yeah, I've been to New York, but I've never been to that building specifically.
I've never been inside, but I've walked past it.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've walked past it. But yeah, the most notable tenant is the publishing house Macmillan, which I think is that textbook.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't.
You know Macmillan?
No, I don't. McMillan?
Yeah. Macmillan. MAC, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
The textbook,
know.
right?
Someone
could be wrong.
recently, I'm reading on Britannica, someone proposed it as residential space, so you may soon be able to also live in the Flatiron.
Speaking of rising prices, think about how much that
Oh
would
my
cost.
god! How much do you think? How much do you think like a studio?
A studio
in New York City in Flatiron.
$4,000.
$4,000?
Yeah, what do you think?
You're probably right. I don't know how much it costs to rent a typical studio in New York as of
way
right now.
too expensive.
Oh yeah, too expensive.
I think probably over 2,000. Yeah, I would go at least $4,000 in that building.
Yeah,
that location too. A year ago, building owners announced plans to transform it into luxury condos, 60 units, 22 stories. So that conversion is set to be finished in late 2026.
Just in time for the podcast to really blow up, and we can just. Spending less and getting more is a no-brainer. That's why serious landlords choose Inago. With features like tenant screening, lease signing, and rent collection, Inago gives you everything you need for free. No fees, no contracts, just powerful property management made simple. Visit inago.com/podcast to sign up. That's inago.com/podcast.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely not 4,000 for a studio. They're luxury condos.
We're gonna start fundraising. Let's start a GoFundMe. Please donate to help the podcast.
Yeah,
we'll move to New York City.
Money will be at good use.
Yeah,
but yeah, as far as the building, fun fact: only 6 feet wide at the one end.
That's the cool thing is that if you walk past the building, you really do realize like how it does come to it does come to a tip. Like I mean, you get to walk up right next to it. You could probably like
hug it.
Arm span, yeah. It's pretty cool.
Many New Yorkers at the time thought the odd-looking building wouldn't hold up, calling it Burnham's Folly. I don't know what that.
Folly. Burnham's Folly.
It sounds like a very 1902 thing to say.
It sounds like an Irish pub band.
That's a pretty sweet pub band name.
Yeah.
I guess it's supposed to be like a roast or something. They thought the winds would knock it over.
Yeah. That sounds like some stupid it's like there, see the building the winds are gonna knock the building over, flat on its side. The funny thing is that like you can see this this influence a lot of other buildings, even in Cincinnati. Like there's a building that looks exactly like the Flatiron, just on a smaller scale. Yeah, it comes to a tip at the end.
No idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's down there, but like I see buildings like this all the time, like this kind of style. We're going to talk about the bathrooms or no? We just skip that fun fact.
Yeah, let's talk about bathrooms. So the male and female bathrooms are on separate floors. Male bathrooms are on even floors and female bathrooms are on odd floors.
That's a sign. That's a different time.
That's
a sign of a different time, yeah.
But yeah, okay, on the movie, Zach.
This is what I live for.
Yes.
Where's the Superman? I don't see it on here.
I don't see Superman. I recognize the building from Spider-Man. One of the Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's the obvious one. Daily Bugle. I mean, that's probably my first exposure to it as well. Like the first Spider-Man came out in, was it 2004?
2001?
No, 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first Raimi Spider-Man was 2001. That's probably my first exposure to the building, was seeing it as the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
God, I love those movies. I love Spider-Man.
So good.
Yeah.
The third one's even kind of underrated, or like overhated.
It's a good bad movie. Yes. That movie has aged better than a lot of other comic book movies, I think, because every time I go back, I just laugh at the jokes. There's a meme. There's a different meme from Spider-Man 3 every 5 seconds.
It's got charm to it. That I think the action in those movies is great. I mean, it's kind of dated, but it's very like comic booky and fun. You know, I mean, Spider-Man 2, that train scene with Dr. Octopus, so awesome. Yeah. And then he's just a kid. Yeah, no older than my son.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, so good. Other movies, Godzilla. I don't know which one they're talking about.
I would assume they're talking. Yeah, they're probably talking about the bad Godzilla movie with it was like
Matthew Broderick.
Broderick, yeah, it was Matthew Broderick. Yeah, that's right. Ooh, that movie's rough.
Trash movie.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm assuming that's the Michael Bay one.
I don't even remember.
I saw that one in high school.
Certainly, they've probably put the Flatiron Building and other Mutant Ninja Turtles properties. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
they're in New York. They're jumping around. They're just showing up in the back.
All right, rapid fire here. Armageddon.
Sure. I don't remember. Yes, I remember that.
I haven't seen that one, actually. Believe it or not.
Oh, wow. You just got the jaw drop. You've not seen Hitch?
Will Smith one, right?
That's probably one of his more famous movies.
Yeah,
I would say
I know.
Hitch.
Yeah.
I don't love it Hitch,
That's,
but
that's kind of what I've
it's
heard from
okay.
everybody. So I don't
It was a romantic comedy for its time. I don't know if it ages that well though. I haven't seen it in like years.
Then we got as good as it gets. I think it's that Jack Nicholson movie. I saw that one. It's from like the 90s. I don't remember that building in it at all. But Veronica's Closet. Never even heard.
I've never heard of that one either. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, and there might even be more movies where that's featured. Obviously, tons of movies take place in New York City. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Cool.
I mean that's kind of the end of the what notes I've got here on the Flatiron.
Well, does researching the Flatiron and hosting the segment make you want to go and check it out again the next time you're in New York?
Definitely we'll make a concrete pit stop. Make sure I hit that next time we go to New York.
Definitely recommend people out there go check up on it. Go see it if you're in the city. Okay, all good?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's switch gears. All right, Patrick, what do you say we jump into the mailbag and listen to some questions that we got from our listeners out there?
I say let's do it.
Say let's do it. Okay. So this is going to be another segment of our listener questions. So as always, we appreciate everyone for listening to the show. If you have a real estate or property management question, or if you just have a fun question that you want to ask Patrick and I, you can email those to questions@therentagepod.com. We would love to hear from you. While we're here to help, we're here to answer your questions and have a lot of fun. Remember, consult with the pros before making any big moves. We're not saying that we're not pros. We're just saying that we're not pros.
Not pros.
So let's jump into this and hear what you got to say. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You go for it.
You want me to go? Okay. We got Tina from Tallahassee, Florida asks, I just inherited a house that needs a lot of work and I want to rent it out. What's the first thing I should tackle? Painting the walls, fixing the leaky faucet, or the mysterious smell in the basement? Tina, we got problems at this house. Sounds like we got problems. Obviously, it's a tricky situation here. Where would you go first, Pat?
I would say painting the walls definitely isn't the priority when you have a mysterious smell in the basement. I'm going mysterious smell 1, leaky faucet 2, painting walls 3.
I think that's the appropriate ranking. Yeah. Any mistake? How do you? What's a mysterious smell?
I don't know. That could be anything from like a a dead animal to something like that could actually be dangerous.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a gas leak or something.
Yeah.
It's like it's all serious. So yeah, check that out. Water damage. If it's a mysterious smell, it could be like something that you need to take immediate action on. But yeah, fixing a faucet, it's like drippy faucets or whatever. That's something that's going to impact your water bill and something you want to get fixed, but that's probably second on the priority list.
Yeah.
And then painting. What?
I mean, might need to get done for sure, but shouldn't be first on the list.
Maybe try to avoid this is again not a take Zach's opinion on here, but maybe avoid the landlord special when it comes to painting. But hey, that's just me. It's been done to death, though. It's been done. Patrick, what you got?
Question 2 comes from Manny from Des Moines, Iowa. Never been to Des Moines, Iowa. Never been to Iowa. Anyways, Manny's from there. I'm turning my attic into a rental unit. Cool, right? Cool. What's the one thing I should add to make it super appealing for renters? Well, first of all, check to see some states might have legislation in terms of what you can make into a rental unit. In some states, attics certainly aren't going to fly. Probably, I don't know what state that is. I don't know what the situation is in.
Yeah, we're not legal counsels for the city of Des Moines. So
I would definitely check out though. See what you can legally make into an apartment or a rental unit. But if you are able to make an attic into a rental unit, like legally, definitely insulation.
I feel like that's going to be real hard to temperature control.
Yeah, so. I mean, I feel like in order to make an attic into a rental unit, you got to make it not an attic. You know what I mean? You have to kind of turn it into its own sort of room.
Regardless of the situation, you're going to have some serious renovation to do.
Right.
Because no attic is designed for a renter to live in from base. So the funny thing is, like, I lived in a 3-story house in Cincinnati for 5 years in the Oakley neighborhood. That was like a renovated building. And the 3rd floor was an attic that was renovated to be a single bedroom apartment.
Right.
And I only went up there a handful of times, but it's like they had to do some serious stuff. Plumbing. Yeah. Think about all that. It's nuts. It's a lot.
Yeah. Like HVAC. My grandma's house in Paris has, I think it was like maybe an attic at one point, but the ceiling is kind of like so you can like stand up. I mean, you can fully stand up in a lot of it, but like
tent housing.
Yes. Is that what that term is?
I think so. It's like when you live in a house that has a pointed ceiling, like you're at the top, like you're in a tent.
Yeah. No, I think it's cool. That's like whenever I go, that's the room I stay in. I think it's an awesome room.
Yeah.
So
Prime opportunity for skylights.
yeah. Oh yeah, there's a skylight there.
He's like, there's a skylight. It's just a hole. It's a hole in the ceiling. I just see the night sky. Would you live in an attic?
I mean, if it was nice, yeah, I would have no problems with it. I mean, if it was like an attic, no. But if it was like renovated to be kind of its own little space, I think it'd be cozy.
Okay.
Would you?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. I mean, it depends on if it was renovated or not. But I'm imagining attic as in like I just watched Christmas Vacation because that's a movie I watch around the holidays every year. There's the scene where Clark Griswold gets trapped in the attic and he like has to like throw like a billion blankets on himself just to keep.
Yeah, I very much wouldn't want to live in that.
No. All right, last question of the day. This comes from Sam in Portland, Oregon. I'm renting out my backyard tiny house for the first time. Tiny house. Should I throw in free Wi-Fi?
If it's a shorter term rental, it might be like, oh yeah, Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi included in your stay. If you're staying for like a week or whatever, I think
makes
that
sense.
Generally like free Wi-Fi would be very not necessarily essential there, but like something that a lot of people would look for if they're staying somewhere for a week. Like, I expect it
in a short-term rental. Like if I'm going to a vacation house or a hotel or an Airbnb or whatever, I expect Wi-Fi.
Right.
But yeah, as a renter, I don't. I've always had to pay for my own internet.
Yeah, I always and pay for like the setup. It's a whole hassle, obviously, and if somebody's staying for like a short period of time, you don't want to make them do that. But as a long-term renter, you should never expect free Wi-Fi. Yeah. Like in terms of the bills.
That's it. That's it for this week's listener questions. So that was really fun, Patrick. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Great time. Thank you guys all for emailing questions at therentishpod.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Email us your questions. You got fun topics, movie. If you want to hear our recommendations for movies you should watch or, whatever.
Yeah, please give us one of those.
Something that's not property management related. We just love that. I'm just kidding. All right. That's it for this episode of the Rentish Podcast. Thank you all for listening and supporting the show as always. Patrick, I hope you have a great rest of your day, man.
Hey, thanks. Right back at you.
Yeah, you're hosting trivia tonight. You going to do good?
Am I going to do good?
Yeah.
Remains to be seen, but I think I've got some fire questions ahead of me.
Can you spoil one of them?
Yeah.
He opens
You're not going to be there, are you?
No, I can't make it tonight. I'm sorry.
All right. Here's a trivia question.
Okay, hit me.
On this day in history, 1984, the Sino-British Joint Declaration was signed by Chinese Premier Zhao Ziyang and British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, which declared that this territory would be transferred from the UK back to China in 1997.
Louisiana Purchase.
Wow.
I don't know.
It's Hong Kong.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Were you going to get that right? Oh, nice.
No.
Good job, producer.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a more wrong answer than
Louisiana Purchase. I just, hey, we're doing funnies and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Have a great day.
Hey, listeners. If managing property finances feels like a full-time job, it's time to check out Ledger.ai. Ledger.ai makes property accounting simple by automating your finances, tracking expenses, and keeping you organized all without the stress. It's like having an accounting pro in your corner so you can focus on growing your portfolio. Visit ledger.ai/podcast today and let them handle the heavy lifting. That's LEDGRE.ai/podcast.